Ancient China, 5 Wonders that Changed the World. In 2025, a research group from NASA published an updated analysis of satellite data on ancient irrigation systems in East Asia. According to this report, the length of some canals created more than 2,000 years ago exceeds 1,000 miles, that is more than 21,000 kilometers. And here is what is surprising. Part of these systems still affects modern models of water distribution and even climate calculations. And in 2024, specialists from the Smithsonian Institution presented the results of three-dimensional scanning of ancient bronze mechanisms from the Zhou period. Their geometric precision turned out to be comparable to the engineering standards of the early industrialization era. Imagine for a moment, a world that we are used to considering technologically naive suddenly demonstrates a level of systemic thinking that was ahead of many civilizations by centuries. We are used to viewing ancient China as one of the great cultural traditions: paper, silk, porcelain, gunpowder. All of this sounds familiar. But if we look deeper, it becomes obvious that these achievements were not just inventions. They were elements of a giant architecture of managing space, resources, and consciousness. Modern studies of 2024, 2025, and even the beginning of 2026 showed that the familiar picture is fragmented. Scientific discussion continues. Some institutes see ancient Chinese projects primarily as the result of the evolution of economic needs. Others suggest that we are dealing with a purposeful system of global influence that changed the course of world history. And today, we will examine 5 wonders of ancient China that may have shaped the modern world more strongly than we are ready to admit. The Great Wall as an engineering algorithm. When we hear about the Great Wall, we imagine a massive barrier about 13,000 miles, that is roughly 21,000 kilometers. But this is where the strangest part begins. In 2025, a study conducted jointly by Peking University and the University of Cambridge showed that the distribution of watchtowers corresponds to a complex model of visual signal transmission. Scientists modeled lines of sight between towers at distances of up to 8 miles, which is about 8 kilometers. It turned out that the system made it possible to transmit signals over hundreds of miles within a matter of hours. This was not just a wall, it was an ancient prototype of a distributed communication network. One hypothesis, supported by researchers from Cambridge, claims that the wall was a reactive defensive system. It responded to the external threat of nomadic tribes. Another hypothesis, promoted by Chinese historians, suggests that the wall served as a tool of internal logistics and trade control. Think about this.
If the signal system allowed information to be transmitted faster than troops could move, then we are dealing with an ancient form of informational superiority. The Grand Canal and water management. The Grand Canal of China stretches more than 1,100 miles. That is almost 1,800 kilometers. It connected the north and the south of the country, uniting economic centers. In 2026, NOAA, together with climatologists from Stanford University, published a model according to which ancient hydro systems influenced local climate patterns. Changes in moisture distribution could increase crop yields over thousands of square miles. The first scientific position states that the canal was created exclusively for the transportation of grain and tax revenues. The second point of view suggests a more complex purpose. The canal could have served as an instrument of population redistribution and the formation of a centralized state. Imagine an empire where control over water is equal to control over the future. Water determines who survives a drought, who receives a harvest, and who is forced to relocate. This is no longer just engineering. This is geopolitics, long before the term itself appeared. Paper and the architecture of information. The invention of paper during the Han Dynasty is often perceived as a domestic achievement. But in 2024, researchers from Harvard University published an analysis of early administrative archives preserved thanks to the dry climate of the western regions of China. It turned out that the volume of documentation per capita in some districts exceeded the indicators of European states up to the 17th century. This means that China created a bureaucratic system based on written record-keeping long before the formation of modern states. One hypothesis states that paper became a response to the needs of a growing population. Another version suggests that mass production of paper was a strategic step to standardize thinking through the examination system. When information becomes cheap and accessible, power gains a new tool, not a sword, not a wall, but an archive. The compass and global navigation. The compass was known in China long before it spread in Europe, but the most interesting part is revealed in new archaeological reports of 2025 published by the Institute for the History of Natural Sciences of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. Researchers discovered that early compasses were used not only for navigation at sea, but also for city planning. This points to a deep connection between cosmology and architecture. Western historians traditionally believe that the compass became the catalyst for the age of exploration. However, an alternative point of view, supported by a number of Asian researchers, suggests that China deliberately limited maritime expansion after the 15th century despite its technological advantage.
Why would a civilization that possessed a navigational instrument capable of changing the world refuse global colonization? This is a question that scientific debate continues to address to this day. Gunpowder and the balance of power. Gunpowder became a symbol of military revolution, but its early use in China included not only weapons, but also signaling systems, fireworks, and engineering works. In 2025, the Military History Center at the University of Oxford published a study analyzing ancient gunpowder formulas. Scientists concluded that Chinese alchemists experimented with dozens of proportions long before the standardization of European formulas. The first hypothesis states that gunpowder became an accidental discovery in the search for the elixir of immortality. The second hypothesis suggests deliberate state support for experiments within the framework of military strategy. When a technology is capable of changing the balance of power over thousands of miles around, the question of its origin becomes fundamental. Conclusion. So here we have 5 wonders: the wall as a data transmission network, the canal as a climate instrument, paper as the architecture of consciousness, the compass as a key to global navigation, gunpowder as a controlled factor of power. Recent evidence reveals an increasingly complex picture. Unanswered questions remain in each of these directions. Scientific debate continues, and this is normal for a mature civilization. But the main question is addressed to you. If an ancient culture was able to create systems that influence the world thousands of years later, is it possible that we still underestimate the scale of its strategic thinking? Intellectual autonomy begins with doubt and verification. Study the sources. Compare the positions of universities and institutes. Read the reports, not just the headlines. If this analysis made you look at history differently, support the project and share your opinion. Because a real investigation doesn't begin when someone gives a ready answer. It begins at the moment when you decide to ask your own question.